The news that Microsoft is closing several of its studios has been met with industry-wide criticism for good reason. There have been past statements made that seem to contradict what has been happening the last few months at Microsoft and the Xbox gaming division. Let's talk about what has been said and the fallout from this whole situation right now. I think one of the most important conversations that happened back in April of 2023 was between Jez Corden and Aaron Greenberg. Jez Corden said, "What exactly determines success for an Xbox game these days? Hi-Fi Rush, as far as I know, has no physical version, no marketing, no multiplayer. If Xbox is pressuring ZeniMax to deliver sales of its games, maybe it shouldn't put so much emphasis on Xbox Game Pass. What's the goal here?" Aaron Greenberg responded to this saying, "Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release." So that seems overwhelmingly positive. Fast forward about a year later, almost to the date, and they closed the studio. So apparently it didn't meet expectations after all, otherwise Tango Gameworks would still be open. It is by far the most baffling decision that has been made and has received wide criticism from almost the entire industry. Jez Corden responded to this not that long ago. "I tweeted this in response to Jeff Grubb's report that Hi-Fi Rush hadn't met expectations for Microsoft. Last year, I was angry that Microsoft doesn't offer a clear picture as to what determines success for a game in the Xbox Game Pass era. Microsoft downplayed the report, calling Hi-Fi Rush a breakout hit that met their metrics. Tango was rewarded with studio closure. I've also heard from Xbox devs that they feel unsupported and also don't have a clear picture on what constitutes success either. The phrase flying blind has been used to me in the past, a while ago admittedly, with regards to hitting sales target in an Xbox Game Pass era. Microsoft has a big PR problem externally when it comes to faith in the brand, with corporate making decisions before frontline can even react. Can you feel the burn controller?" That's in reference to a controller that they released the day they announced the studio closures that said, "Can you feel the burn?" which was later pulled. But also, more importantly, a big PR issue internally. If I was in a smaller team at Xbox not working on a black hole game or a billion-dollar franchise Matt Booty likes to refer to during internal Q&A, would you feel valued? Would you feel trust? Think about how the team working on South of Midnight feels right now. Or what about Clockwork Revolution? Those are cool new IPs, but with the studio closure of Tango Gameworks, who made Hi-Fi Rush, which was supposedly a big hit, you have to be feeling a little bit uneasy about the future of the brand. Hellblade 2 is heading for a digital-only, probably mostly Xbox Game Pass release with zero marketing. As a narrative adventure game, it really doesn't fit the bill for the kind of game mega publishers make. Microsoft previously touted Xbox Game Pass as a vehicle for creative games like this, like Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush got Tango closed down. How would you feel if you were Ninja Theory right now? I'm curious how Microsoft is positioning these decisions internally. How is Microsoft reassuring its teams? Working while fearing for your job is a great way to kill studio morale. Microsoft is its own worst enemy, I feel. And he does a really good job of something that I was trying to illustrate with the video yesterday. Long story short, Hellblade 2 is just a few days away and has little to no marketing behind it. And it's absolutely bizarre to see that happening. I just don't understand what is going on with that property. Aaron Greenberg says, "Had a great review with the team leading our big global and regional marketing plans to support Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. It all starts next week as we optimize leading up to launch and beyond. So many fun creative plans to name a few. Global paid media campaign, cinema launch program, out-of-home advertising, brand partnerships, special activation from Iceland, so much more. Excited to share more and celebrate this immersive and visually stunning masterpiece from the team at Ninja Theory. In the meantime, you can wish list, pre-order, pre-install on Game Pass, Xbox, and PC/Steam to get ready for the big launch on May 21st. It is May 8th. That post was made on May 3rd. So realistically, the marketing should come flooding in any day now about, I don't know, 13 days before the game launches. Is that enough? Do enough people even know or have interest in Hellblade 2 that close to launch? I would hope that some marketing goes behind one of my favorite studios and one of the most creatively interesting studios in the industry. Ninja Theory is absolutely phenomenal. Every game they've released has been artistic and impactful, and I really, really hope they don't wind up with the same fate that Tango Gameworks did. There is a person who just got laid off from one of the studios. With the news of Arcane Austin closing, I'm looking for a new VFX artist job. I have worked at Naughty Dog, Respawn, and Activision, and worked on IP such as Call of Duty, The Last of Us Part 1, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Thank you for any help you can provide at this time. And she retweeted something, obviously feeling quite cynical. The illusion of free choice. Game sells well and wins a BAFTA. Game does not sell well enough. It all leads to layoffs. That's how somebody who just got laid off is feeling. Obviously very cynical and jaded about the current state of the industry. So there's a lot of stuff going around right now. Gene Park says, one thing is for sure, no one will believe Xbox when a spokesperson will say Hellblade 2 was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. Trust in Microsoft's leadership and Xbox Game Division leadership is at an all-time low. I have not seen confidence in the Xbox brand this low since they launched the Xbox One. And a lot of people agree. Jez Corden says, don't think trust and faith in Xbox has been this low since 2013. Digging themselves out of this hole will be Herculean. It's absolutely crazy to see people talking about canceling their Game Pass subscription online. Like people I follow who are just like, yeah, I'm done. And I know not everybody feels that way. I obviously understand there's a lot of Xbox fans out there who don't agree with that, who are like diehard Xbox to the end. But there's no denying that there has been a sentiment shift industry-wide. People are not happy about these decisions. They're confused by these decisions and rightfully upset. Yeah, I keep thinking this. Hellblade 2 is a big game for Xbox this year, but still pretty niche in general. What is even the metric for success now? Game Pass makes this even more confusing as ever, but it doesn't even matter because they can call something a hit and still do this. You can't trust what leadership says at Microsoft anymore. Like, the trust level is absolutely gone. Cromwell, who works over at the Baldur's Gate team, I cannot imagine hearing you're being let go because of prioritization of another developer is especially good for morale, especially if you're in another regional office of a shuttered sister office. Imagine reading this and working in an Obsidian or something wild. So other people in the industry are just talking about the devastating impact that this will have on the rest of the Xbox teams internally. Hi-Fi Rush was touted as a victory for Microsoft by Phil Spencer. He talked about how great it was and how everybody liked the game and brought it up during interviews. Aaron Greenberg talked about how it's success, and this is the result. If Xbox leadership rewards success the same as failure, why trust them? That's an article from Paul Tassi that you can go read, where he sort of talks about the fact that it doesn't seem to matter what you do. You're just going to get laid off anyway. Like, that's how it feels today. And I think that's why people are feeling the way that they are about Microsoft today and why they reacted the way that they did yesterday. Let's take a look at a few more posts here. Harvey Smith said, I just want to say that I love all the people at Arcane Austin so much. Great times, hard times. We went through so much together. Of course, today's news is terrible for all of us. Your talent will lift you up, and I will do anything I can to help. Harvey Smith, as you know, was one of the leads on Redfall, which is likely what led to the closure of Arcane. Shinji Mikami simply tweeted, Tango closed, sad, reacting to the studio that he helped build, that he helped found, closing after many years. It is a very unfortunate outcome. Larry Herb, former Xbox talent, another tough day in the gaming industry with a sad emoji. Obviously, a lot of people who either previously worked at Xbox or are currently working at Xbox are feeling this today. Real quick, we have a post here from Clobrill, who is being somewhat critical of leadership of Xbox, rightfully so, I think. Klobrille said, unfortunately, you learned absolutely nothing, Xbox, and shared this little clip from the Xbox On documentary.
We acquired Lionhead in 2006, shut it down in 2016. A couple years later, we reflected back on that experience. What did we learn? How do we not repeat our same mistakes?
You acquire a studio for what they're great at now, and your job is to help them accelerate how they do what they do, not them accelerate what you do.
Well, it seems like priorities have changed, and Klobrille rightfully being critical, saying, unfortunately, you learned absolutely nothing, Xbox. And that sentiment has been very rampant across the industry. Having spoken to friends inside several of these studios, they were blindsided by these calls to the extent that even HR was scrambling. This doesn't sound like something that was explained sufficiently, even to those in the loop. That's from David Goldfarb, who was a creative director at Outsiders Games. And my reaction as a fan is negative. This is bad. You said things that were not true, or turned out to be not true. And you should rightfully be called out on that. Everybody is left wondering, what the hell happened? What is going on? You said the important thing was job security, better creative visions, allowing people to experiment, and then the places that experimented were closed. It's right to be critical and cynical. Mike Ibarra, also on the other side of the fence, said, I see a lot of shots at Phil over today's Xbox announcements. I get it, but knowing him as a human, I know this hurts him as much as anyone else. I can't speak for the leadership there, but I do know him, and I do know what he is likely going through. I'm not trying to defend the decisions. I think we all get ourselves into situations that are tough and unexpected. Certainly I have. It's part of the job, as is the accountability for the outcomes. But he's a good human, and he cares deeply for the creative process and developers. That's my firsthand experience in working closely with him for 8+ years and knowing him for 24+. I 100% understand the anger and confusion, and I feel deeply sorry for those teams impacted today over the last few months. I didn't agree with every decision he made at Xbox, and I think that was pretty clear, but I do believe in his product leadership, and I know how hard these decisions can be. Xbox could have a very bright future. I hope they are able to realize it, and all of these teams have an incredible experience together. It's certainly a tough time that needs great clarity into what the plan ahead is and how gamers everywhere can be excited for it. The problem with this statement is it comes at a time where 4 studios have been closed. And who runs Xbox gaming? It's Phil Spencer. So Phil Spencer as a person, as an individual, obviously is very nice, and a lot of people have a lot of fondness for him. But it's his leadership and his decision-making that has led to this outcome. So the critical nature of the commentary around Phil Spencer today and during this crisis for the Xbox brand is warranted. So it makes no sense to make this post. Alana Pierce says, Mike, I have a lot of fondness for Phil, and I don't doubt he's incredibly bummed about this, but CEOs can handle some shots amidst people having their lives destroyed. Your sympathetic post should solely be directed at those who've lost their jobs. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but he's not the robot celebrating in the glory of this some want to make it out to be. You're in this industry, you know how this works, and what can and can't be said. I don't think anybody out there, normal people out there, think Phil is twiddling his mustache celebrating having to close these studios. But again, he is the leader of the Xbox brand. That's where the criticism should be directed. That's part of the job. He makes millions of dollars working in the position that he works as the head of the Xbox gaming division. People don't have health insurance anymore. They don't have a livelihood anymore. They have to figure it out, and fast, in an industry time where everybody is being laid off. It is incredibly tone deaf to say, won't somebody think of the CEOs and executives? Like, come on. DMG said, Recommendation from a communications professional: maintain focus on those impacted. I doubt anyone thinks this was an easy decision or that folks up high feel good about this. What feels worse, though, is losing stability and income and all the stress that comes with that. I understand your intentions too, but at the end of the day, it comes off as the following gif: crying with like money in your face. Like, the people that he's asking to have sympathy for are very, very wealthy. Mike Ibarra is very, very wealthy, and his focus, strangely, was on how people are reacting to Phil Spencer's leadership. It's crazy. Adam Boyes said Microsoft posted a 17% increase in revenue to $61.9 billion, with $21.9 billion in profits, up 20%, and earnings of $2.94 per share. Microsoft is making tons of money as this is happening, and the gaming division is doing quite well. Very AFK said, leadership have tough jobs and they're compensated accordingly, but it's not leadership that needs your empathy right now. It's the developers whose sparks are being constantly diminished by the inability of leadership to protect them from a brutal, hidden conflict. And that conflict, if there's like an economic thing happening that should have been conveyed by Matt Booty in that email, and none of what Ibarra was trying to convey was conveyed within that eternal email. MVG simply said this industry is so effed, obviously having negative sentiment toward it. And Paul Tassi says, at a certain point, Xbox leadership being affable and good on stage isn't enough. You need results. You need to make good decisions. You need a coherent mission. And the loudest voice that I've heard about this from gamers is, what is the plan? You fired 1,900 people. You closed these studios. You stopped making the new Blizzard project, the first one in several years, probably since the original Overwatch. What is the play? We don't see it anymore. Because you said things about Tango Gameworks and the strategy with Tango, and then that studio's gone. A BAFTA-winning studio just made one of the best Xbox games in years, and you're just like, not good enough, bye. And then the other one that made Redfall, that also wasn't good enough, bye, you're done. Make it make sense. And nothing that they've posted, that they've said professionally, has made sense. I had one more here from... yeah, okay, I got two more here to go through. Nick Calandra says, tend to agree with this. Spencer came off as genuine for a lot of years, and I think his heart is in the right place for what it's worth. But his legacy is shaping up to be a big spender and a silver tongue who just has not delivered results. Genuinely curious, Legacy Killer said, genuinely curious what the savior of Xbox, Phil Spencer, has actually done that is successful the last number of years. All I see is a lot of failure, a lot of promises broken, a lot of lies, zero leadership and accountability. Congrats on spending $100 billion on studios, I guess. And that's where we're left today. You bought all of these studios. The needle hasn't really moved them any further up the ladder. And a lot of people are starting to just ask, like, at what point is enough enough? I like Phil. I think Phil has actually done some positive things at the company, but at the end of the day, the results are where we are today. Is the line going up? No. I have to imagine a lot of people aren't happy with Phil internally and obviously externally right now. DC Deacon Pete Hines, being the voice of reason, my heart goes out to all my former colleagues at Arcane, Austin, Alpha Dog, Roadhouse, and Tango. A lot of really good, talented people are having an awful day today. Be kind. That's all they had to do. Like, be clear about the messaging, be clear about the strategy within Xbox. You have to be doing those things, and they're not. And it leaves everybody bewildered and sentiment at an all-time low for the Xbox brand. They have a really good holiday season lined up. I'm excited about a lot of the games, but it's very hard to show excitement for the Xbox brand this week, given yet another terrible day to be talking about Xbox news. Let me know what you think. Have you lost a little bit of faith in what Xbox is capable of or what they're going to bring? Because it's been a long time awaiting. Let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you like my content, hit the like button if you want the video to get shared more. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for the members supporting. If you want to support this channel, hit that join button. I do appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here. You can check out my video yesterday about the studio closures and my initial reaction to it. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.